And we're live. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Mm-mm-mm. Let's see here. Go ahead and hit the like button as you come in. Thank you. And welcome to another live stream. What's going on? How are you? Greetings. How are y'all? Yeah, I know. I did make it. We're a little bit late. I had a couple of things. I had a call run a little bit long, but we're here. We made it. How are you guys doing today? Make sure you hit the like button as you come in. Let's get into the conversation. If this is your first time, hey Clem, what's popping? I always recognize that name. Shout out to Clem. Um, let's see here. But if this is your first time, welcome, Chris. I talked to Chris today. Shout out to you, Chris. Good to talk to you. Let's see here. So, if this is your first time, the way this works is you can go ahead and drop your questions in the comment section, and I will get to your questions as soon as I can. Okay, I tend to answer the questions in order. But the live is pretty casual. You guys get to ask me questions, and I answer just to support you on your breakup journey because obviously everyone can't do the one-on-one calls, but you know so that's what this is for. So go ahead and drop your questions. Also, if you want to support the channel, thank you. One, hit the like button. Okay. That's a free way to support the channel. And I appreciate you for doing so. Also, if you would like to make a super chat donation, go ahead and make a super chat donation over there on the bottom. Or if you want to ask a question and kind of skip the line, you can send a super chat. I prioritize all super chat donation questions first. Okay, always. So if you want to support, hit the like button. Thank you, or send a super chat. Um, let's see here. Let me go ahead and give some shout outs. Let me know where you are tuned in from. Let me know where you are tuned in from. So we got, and shout out to Pablo. Pablo said this is his first time here. Thank you for joining us. I'm not sure what part of the world you're calling from, but I'm glad you could make it tonight. Shout out to you, Pablo. Good to see you. What else? Where are you guys tuned in from? I know Clem is on the East Coast. I want to say New York. Can't remember. New York or New Jersey. I mixed them up. But we got Dallas in the building. Nathan. Baltimore, Burbank, California, North California, Southampton, UK. Hey, I'm gonna be in the UK soon, so so stay posted. I'm going to be in the UK. I gotta visit. We got Japan, Arizona, Houston, Texas, Nebraska, Jamaica. Shout out to you guys wherever you are at. It's truly a pleasure. I'm glad we could be here. This feels like my little family and all that. So cool. So D'Angelo is in Tulum. I'm actually going to be in Tulum this weekend. So maybe send me an email. Maybe we can grab a drink together, bro. All right. But hey, thank you guys all for being here. Let's just jump into it. I'm going to get into the questions now. So make sure you drop your questions in early. Drop them in early. If I didn't give you a shout out wherever you're from, truthfully, thank you. Thank you for being here. Okay. I appreciate it. Let's get some questions in. All right. Let's see here. Let's see. Lavishly. Hi, coach. Is a change of look like a haircut good or show I care? Well, obviously, if it's a dude, I mean, you probably cut your hair all the time. But for a woman, I would say a haircut is more of a drastic change for a woman, typically. So, um, Again, make sure it's not an impulsive decision. Ultimately, you can change your look whenever you want to, um, and it has nothing to do with your ex. But a lot of times around breakups, statistically, a lot of women tend to get haircuts and piercings and things like that. So try not to make any impulsive decision. At least give it a couple of weeks or months before you do that. Okay. But it's your life. You get to get a haircut if you want to. Ebby, this is your first time on the live. Welcome. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Sofac, first time. Awesome. Good. Adele is listening from Argentina. Shout out to you. Okay, let's see. Victor says 4 months no contact. Dumper ex girlfriend blocked me on my second WhatsApp account, which I never used to chat her up, but left my most active account and even recently called me on it. What does that mean? I would more so focus on the fact that she called you. All right. So, what did you do with that opportunity? What was the conversation like? All right. There's a lot of potential reasons she might have blocked your other account, but the bigger thing, it's not like she blocked it and did nothing. She reached out to you on your main account. So what was that conversation about? Did you try to get together? Did you guys go for drinks? Like what happened? So that's a more interesting question that I would like to know. Beirut says I'm in 2 months of no contact now. My ex-girlfriend randomly blocked me 2 weeks ago on Telegram. I didn't react to her block and stayed in no contact. Break up 4 months ago. Your opinion on the situation? Did you guys use Telegram at all? So I'm not necessarily Telegram savvy. I don't know like what they have access to. Like, is she blocking you? Because these could be reasons. Like, if she's posting stories on Telegram and you can see that and she doesn't want you to see, or if you're posting stories and I don't know if there's a story feature, right? So things to where she's trying to create some separation, trying to put a wall up. That could be a reason. Another potential reason is um, because she's starting to feel the effects of no contact. That does happen to some exes, and then they do these things to get your attention. But if Telegram is not an app that you guys use ever, then it's kind of something I wouldn't focus on. I was talking to a client today whose ex blocked them on the these little fitness watches and things. So again, I wouldn't read too much meaning into every single place your ex blocks you. Just be expecting to get blocked by a lot of exes on different platforms. But stay the course, stay no contact. And if they reach out to you, make sure to do something with that reach out. That's like the big picture thing. But generally speaking, if they're blocking you and you haven't been reaching out to them, net net, I would call that a positive sign because you crossed their mind. Let's see. Nathan says, I like the videos before I start them. Thank you. I appreciate that. For all the people who do that, all the people in the like gang that like the videos before they even watch it. Thank you. That means a lot. That shows that you have a certain level of trust with me. So thank you. Appreciate it, man. Mac. Since the dumper doesn't usually work on themselves after the breakup, while the dumpy does, which I am, do they even notice or care with the changes over time? A lot of times they do because they recognize that you're a better version than the person that they left. So a lot of times, like I say, it's out of their own self-interest because they are getting a better deal. I've talked to people who during a breakup have lost 30 pounds, 40 pounds. Now, objectively speaking, for the most of us, okay, you're probably going to go with the more fit person. And again, do what works for your body and what you're comfortable with. But just generally speaking, it's like, okay, this person made this effort to improve this area of their life. So even if your ex is being sloppy and they're not making any changes, they're going to look at you as an aspiration. someone that they would be proud to walk into their, Thanksgiving dinner with, right? Someone that they would be proud to have on their arm. So, yes, work on yourself for you, but it'll definitely be a factor for your ex. Okay, super chat from Tio. My ex has been going down a cycle of alcohol and drugs with random people and isn't the same person I knew. What should I do? I'm worried for her. Well, ultimately, right, as sad and difficult as this may be, the moment your ex says the relationship is over, all of the benefits that you each get from each other is ended. It's done. It's over. So as much as you care for her, she's no longer your responsibility. And quite frankly, she's not asking you for help. She's more likely pushing you away. She's more likely asking for more distance and separation. And you're still noticing all these things because you're hanging around, or you're somehow peeling over the veil and looking behind the curtains and trying to figure out what she's doing. You shouldn't be doing that because you're just hurting yourself. So allow her to go through this cycle for better or worse, and you wish her the best. Okay. She is no longer your responsibility. Uh, Priscilla from Houston. Shout out to you, Priscilla. My first time, my ex is divorcing and wants to see me. How soon after the divorce? How soon after a divorce should you date? Okay, I'm confused. My ex is divorcing. Oh, okay. So I'm guessing, not really clear, but I'm guessing you're saying this is an ex you had a long time ago. They married someone else, divorced them, and they're asking you on a date. That's what I'm assuming you're saying here. My ex is divorcing and wants to see me. After a divorce, how, should you date? So if that's the case, if I got that right, if my assumption is correct, because the way you ask that question, it's not 100% clear to me. But if that's the case, okay, then you should understand that it's going to take him some time emotionally to heal from a divorce. And a lot of times there's a lot of logistical things, there's a lot of legal things that have to happen in a divorce. So in my opinion, going on a date with someone that's just getting out of a marriage, you know proceed with caution, right? Proceed at your own risk. So definitely be taking more time, or go into it with very little to no expectation, because he's probably not at the place you need him to be emotionally. Okay. So if you're looking for something long term or something serious, I would be very cautious with that. Okay. Let's see here. uh, uh, uh. Yinka says rewrite properly. Okay. My ex is stubborn. I know she is not going to reach out, even though she misses me. What should I do? Well, I mean, the way you already set that question up, you have to do all the work, because that's what you're asking. You're looking for permission to break no contact. And I will say this, okay? My suggestion to you as a coach who's been doing this for a while, who's talked to over 1,000 people, is that you don't reach out to her. All right. Now, you might not listen to me because, again, a lot of times your belief systems is what's going to control your actions. And you believe that your value is not high enough. Your ex doesn't care enough about losing you to do anything. And then you have to do all the work, even though she's the one that dumped you. She's the one that walked away. She's the one that says, "Get out of here. I don't want to be with you. You are trash," essentially. And you're still looking for reasons to chase her. Ask yourself this question: what is she getting out of that deal? Why would she want to be with a guy who doesn't respect himself? Okay. And I'm truthfully not trying to be harsh. I want you to think about it from her perspective, because if you truly did respect yourself, if you really did think that she's making a mistake and you are someone worth being with, Why do you have to beg her for a conversation? You don't. Okay. And if you do, I'm not saying that that, you know, you don't make this choice for yourself. Understand that you're probably going to deal with the consequences later on when she doesn't value you. Because if she ended things and you're still the one reaching out, even if she gives you some attention or a conversation, she's just not going to value the relationship. We value what we have to work for. Okay, that is just human nature, and you can not like what I'm saying all you want. Okay, you're not going to change human beings from being the way they are. You're not. And you're not going to make someone value something that you're just throwing in their lap for free. You're not. Okay. So I wish you well though. Can you explain the phases of the dumper, what they go through before they come back to you? Good question. Um, well, I would say big picture, right? Most times when someone dumps you, in the moments or at least leading up to it, you know, there is a moment of peace once they said like it's over, once they get done with the breakup because they've been building up to this. Unless your breakup happened in the instant, let's say you cheated, they found out and they broke up with you. That's a little bit different from somewhere where their emotional attachment to you has been dropping over time. They've been losing feelings over time. And when that happens, okay, all of this anticipation is built up. They have the conversation with you, they end, they walk away, and they feel peace. This is what a lot of people call the relief stage because they just got done with this difficult task of telling someone that they've been building a life with that it's over, right? It's kind of like firing someone from a job. I'm not sure if any of you have ever been managers or if you've ever watched movies or documentaries about people firing. It's still a difficult thing, right? Because you're causing someone else, the person across from you, you know that you're causing them pain. So again, it's difficult, right? And but then once it's complete, there's relief. There's even people that would talk about in layoffs and they would say, "Wow, you made this layoff so easy." Right? Because the other person handled it well because there was all this anxiety leading up to it. They had the conversation, they feel peace, so relief. This is why I say it's not a good idea to be trying to fix things with your ex right after they break up with you because you're trying to keep them in the cycle of that high anxiety and disappointing you, right? They don't want to be there. So relief. In the next stage, if you actually stay no contact, like I've been suggesting to you, you don't call them, you don't text them, you give them space, distance, give them time alone. What will happen is, let's see here, let's make sure we're good. All right. What will happen is, after you give them that time and space, is that they will at least start to have some curiosity about you. Why? Because they expected the breakup to go a certain way. Okay. You got to understand when they are leaving you, in their mind at least, they are up here because they're the ones walking away from the opportunity, walking away from the relationship. When you quit a job and you're going to a better job, typically, you feel good about yourself. You just ascended, you just rose the ranks. So your ex is the same way, and but they still feel like, well, I'm the one that walked away. And if I wanted to stay with this person, obviously they would stay with me. So they expect you to still be doing some communication, some reach outs here and there. And even if you say you won't, they won't really believe you until they experience the silence. Okay. So after a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, depending on the person, this does vary. Okay. This whole process is going to vary from person to person to person. But after a couple of weeks or months, they're going to be like, okay, what is she doing? What is he doing? Let me watch their social media. What, like, do they not care about me? How are they able to just walk away from the relationship permanently and do nothing. Right? These are the things that are going to be crossing your ex's mind. And so they're going to want to see, they're going to want to scratch that itch to satisfy their curiosity to figure out how you're taking the breakup. This is when they start watching your stories and doing little things like that. And you start to see all these signs and you're like, huh, I thought I was never going to hear from them again. And then you get the text message. Sometimes they'll ask you flat out, how are you doing? How have you been? Right? It's just their own way of figuring out how you're handling the breakup. And the truth is, they're hoping that you're not doing so good. They want to at least know, they want to feel like they meant something to you. It's that sense of importance, right? The dumper wants to feel like, okay, this relationship at least meant something to you. It hurt you a little bit to lose them. Okay. So relief, curiosity, right? And then if you remain indifferent, you maintain that distance. Now that's when they may start to get into the fear, the worry. Okay, what's going on? Is she moving on? Is he moving on? Is she detaching? Again, this is why you got to be able to handle those back and forth conversations with your ex when they come back. You have to display indifference. That's the sweet sauce of attraction. Being indifferent, being able to have a take it or leave it attitude. And so when your ex tests you and they're trying to figure out, can I still push them around? Can I still make them bend to my will? And you're able to stand up for yourself in a calm way and, reject their cheap offers without anger. That's indifference. And that's what will make them have that fear and worry. Okay. And now you're raising their attraction. Once your ex is starting to feel anxious, there's actually scientific research that shows anxiety is highly correlated to attraction, feelings of attraction. Okay. So when they start to have that fear, worry, then they'll move to the next phase, which is doubt. Maybe I made the wrong decision. Maybe now, if I ask her, let's get back together, maybe she would say no. Maybe she would say, like, she doesn't want to be with me anymore. Right. And that's where you want them to be. Fear and doubt, anxiety. Those are the feelings that you want your ex to be feeling during this process. And it's going to take some time. So you got to buckle up. You got to be ready. You got to have that stoic face where you're not overly reactive. I'm telling you, if you cannot be indifferent, if you're too attached to your ex, you're going to fail their test. And you're like, oh, I don't want to play games. Well, your ex is going to test you just to figure out, because what you have to understand, that's like you're an English speaker, right? And when you're doing no contact, all of a sudden to your ex, you're speaking Spanish. You're behaving totally different from the person they remember. And so they have to throw all these subtle tests at you to figure out who am I really dealing with? Am I dealing with the old version, the needy, insecure, desperate, the person that was obsessed over me? Right? So they throw all these tests at you to figure out how you react. Once you overreact, they're like, oh, so this was all just a facade. It was just fake. So if you cannot master indifference, having that non-attachment vibe to you, you're going to lose. Right? This is why some of you need the time, you need the space away from your ex to get your mind right. So you're not making silly mistake. Okay. So when they go to doubt, right, then they go into regret. Right. And then that's when they actually regret losing you. And then they start to take more active and direct approach to fixing things. Again, this timeline is going to vary from person to person. In some cases, they may go through one or two steps in a very short amount of time. But again, you have to be patient. Okay. So there you go. Let's see here. Stephanie with Super Chat says, my ex broke up with me. He called it a break 6 months ago. That's a breakup. Okay. You don't take a break for 6 months. And quite frankly, you're doing yourself a disservice by not communicating clearly, like, hey, I'm not going to be in a break forever. You want to be with me or not? Don't be in a break for 6 months. You got dumped. We stayed in contact up till a month ago where I told my ex we either date or don't talk. Okay, finally. He said he needed time and feels shaky about us dating and that he wants to feel the butterflies. Well, you stuck around the whole time talking to him like his pen pal. So he's not going to feel any butterfly. The butterflies come from yearning, from wanting something, from desire. No one's gonna feel butterflies from you if they snap their fingers and there you go doing backflips and calling and texting. It just you're killing every opportunity for attraction. These are basic things that you shouldn't be doing. Anyway, but it's okay. I'm here for you. That's what I'm here for. We're gonna help you out. Okay. And almost wants to chase after me. He literally said it, right? He's helping you. He doesn't even know it. If you're not giving him the space to chase you, how can he chase you? Literally just solved the puzzle right there. And almost wants to chase after me. I liked him more during the relationship, so we haven't texted for about a month. Good. Say nothing. But I clearly still want him back. What would be the best action to take here? Inaction. See, a lot of people think that no contact is not an action. You're doing something. You're practicing restraint and you're staying away. And in a lot of cases, that's the best thing that you can do is to do nothing. I'm serious. Like some of you hate to hear it, but that's what you need to do right now in this phase that you're in. Or do I just wait to hear from him? Yes. Even though I gave him the ultimatum of we either date or don't talk. Yes, you needed to give him the ultimatum. It really wasn't an ultimatum. He put you on the back burner. He put you on ice. He said we're taking a break, but he's still talking to you whenever he wants to. That ain't a break. And he did that for 6 months. It was a conversation that needed to happen. Maybe the delivery may not have been perfect. We won't go over the technicalities, but it needed to happen. Let's see here. Colin. But hey, thank you for your question and thank you for the super chat. If you're just joining, welcome. Appreciate you for being here, for hanging out with us. Be sure to like if you want to support the channel. It's literally a thank you. And I thank those that do like the video. Thank you. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comment section below, and I will get to them soon. I'll get to them as soon as I can. Okay. But I appreciate you for doing so. If you asked a question and I answered, but we didn't get to go over the details, if you want to talk to me one on one, the quickest way is to click the link. You'll see the pinned link over there on the top, and you can book a coaching call and we can talk. All right. Last, if you want to send a super chat, I appreciate it. Send it. Or if you want to skip the line, if you're not going to stick around the whole time, send a super chat with your question, and I'm going to prioritize the super chat questions first. Okay? Cool. Let's do it. So the next question is from Colin. Hey, coach, me again from a few days ago. Haven't gone to the party yet, but if they are there and they say something like, I thought you hated me, how should I respond? Okay. You're assuming that remember exactly your story. I don't, but I'm just gonna take your question at face value. If you see your ex and they say, "I thought you hated me," because I don't know if you actually told them that you hated them. So let's assume that you didn't, and they're just assuming. You should say, "Of course not. I don't hate you. Good to see you. How have you been?" This is assuming that they walked up to you and started this conversation. Okay. So you act again, remember, indifferent, you're not angry, you certainly don't hate them. So you shouldn't be displaying these strong emotions because once you're displaying these strong emotions, you've already given your ex your power. So again, have that stoic face about you. Of course I don't hate you. Good to see you. How have you been? Right? back and forth a little bit, and then I would keep moving, keep circulating, keep talking to other people. Okay, that's what I would do. Kate, how will family grieve? Okay, how will family grief affect no contact? I'm guessing. I pushed my ex, clingy, needy, but she wasn't communicating well. I didn't know until later that her grandma passed and fam is going through a rough time. Yeah, so if your ex lost a family member, they should be wanting to get closer to you. Okay. So to me, the real issue is that you were needy and insecure. So stop doing that and wait for her to respond to your new, more attractive behaviors. Okay. Ultimately, we're all going to go through things. That does happen. But focus on the fundamentals first. Stop being needy, stop being insecure, give them some space, give her a little bit of time. She will process and get through this, all right? And she will reach out to you when she's ready. Don't assume because she lost a grandma that you should start calling and texting her. That already happened before the breakup. Uh let's see here. Uh Rosemary. Hi, my ex texted me. It's been 4 months. Will I be able to see Cookie, my dog? Okay. Or do you still need more quote unquote no contact time? Should I expect more than 1 year to see you or talk to you? What to do? Well, did you tell them? Did you tell your ex that you're going into no contact? Did you say that? I'm gonna assume that you did, which I wouldn't say. These are the things where you shouldn't be defining a timeline for your ex and telling them, hey, I'm gonna be in no contact for, or I'm going into no contact. These are things you shouldn't say to your ex. Just accept the breakup and distance yourself, back away. That's all you need to be focusing on. So if you've created this timeline and your ex is even telling you, oh, so how much longer are you going to be in no contact? I wouldn't do things like that. So I would have more of a frank, straight up conversation. If the dog is your dog, right? You had the dog before them. I would just say, they reach out to you like, hey, like, I'm not doing any no contact. I'm just respecting your decision for the breakup. If you want to see me, sure, we can get together and grab a drink. But just to be clear, we're not getting together as friends to hang out with the dog and all that stuff because that looks like an excuse to come around. And you shouldn't be agreeing to those things. So it's more so just be clear that, hey, this is not about me doing no contact or some technique. I'm just respecting your decision. That's more so what you should be saying. Okay. All right. Let's see. Super chat. Okay. I'm lost here. Okay. Stephanie was the one with the 6 month break. He did reach out once, just 2 days after I started no contact, texted me a video that reminded him of me. And I ignored since I had given him the quote unquote ultimatum 2 days prior. Okay. Even with me having ignored, would you still say take no action? Yes, that was a breadcrumb. Again, you're looking for excuses to reach out. This guy's had 6 months to decide about you. His interest level isn't that high. It seems like. So any more action you take is just going to end you back into what you were doing for the last 6 months. He's not putting any effort to resolve this thing. So he doesn't really care deeply like he should. And that's okay. But you can't keep trying to carry the relationship on your back because that's what you've been trying to do and it's clearly not working. So, no, you shouldn't reach out to him. A video is a breadcrumb. Let's see here. Uh, huh. Okay. Next question is from Cherry. 7 weeks no contact. Ex texted to check if I'm okay and said he's feeling pain from his mistakes and how he hurt me while together, but still doesn't want to come back. Is it okay to discuss my feelings too? No, but what my qu- so was that all one text? Like he said, okay, I'm feeling this, blah blah blah, but I still don't want to come back. If he ends with that statement, like he said all these things and expressing his feelings, and he says, but I still don't want to come back, just say, hey, I respect your decision. I hope you know I care, but at the end of the day, I want you to do what's best for you. I want you to be happy. If you change your mind, let me know, and I will continue no contact. I wouldn't go deep into your feelings. Um, so hopefully he didn't reach out and you guys had a back and forth and you're asking him to come back and he says, no, I don't want to. Hope that makes sense. Wanda says, I've been doing no contact and I know he's talking to some woman he went to school with, but having conversations about me. Is that weird? How do you know all of that? Maybe you know somebody that knows somebody. Well, either way, if he's talking to another woman about you, it sounds like he's trying to build a connection with her. Probably, unless she's just a friend. You know how people start dating someone new and like, oh, my ex would always do this, or my ex didn't listen. Some men do those types of things, unless you're sure like this person is just a friend. But if he's talking to her in a dating context and talking about you, to me, he's just trying to build a relationship with her. So you should still be in no contact anyway. King Lex says X being stubborn. She wants to do what she wants to do, deal with other guys, and we're still married. I'm confused. Energy is bad, and maybe it's me, but can't seem to get rid of the fear of being without her. I'm confused. One, you called her your ex, and then you said you're still married, and then you said she's dating other guys. Bottom line, if she's not being loyal to you while you have this label, you need to let her go, right? And hopefully you're not still talking to her because of your fear, because that makes you even less attractive. Think about it from her perspective too. All right. She's wanting to have fun. She's wanting to do all these things, but she knows she's breaching the terms of the marriage. She's disregarding the commitment and the vow that she made to talk to other men, and you're chasing her around. That doesn't show any sign of self respect. That's not the behavior of an attractive man. I don't know if you watch the movies. Think about James Bond, right? And in those James Bond movies, how all the ladies go crazy for him. You think James Bond would be accepting this behavior, right? And it's not about not loving your wife. If she's treating you well and respecting the relationship, hey, she's your queen. Treat her amazingly. But again, someone who's disrespecting you, not respecting the vows, dating other men, and you're sitting there telling her, "Oh, I'm afraid of being without you." Um, that ain't gonna work, bro. File podcast says just did a one-on-one with him before this. Great dude with even better advice. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, I think you were my last appointment. Great conversation, man. And thank you for the recommendation. That means a lot. Alicia says, "Can you get your ex back if your mom sent a spicy text to him soon after the breakup?" What do you mean spicy? Okay, I'm gonna get my mind out the gutter. So I'm guessing he's maybe like harsh things, right? In support of you. Well, you can still get back together, assuming your mom said something negative about him. But again, the attraction between you guys will have to be fixed first. And then, right? So that's going to be a challenge. But if you guys can fix the attraction, he would be leaning on you to resolve that. Because at the end of the day, your mom would come on board if you tell her, Mom, I love him. This is my person. And as much as she might be cautious and wary and, care about you, if you put your foot down in a loving way, like, Mom, I love him, I'm going to be with him, she will come on board, right? So you can get through that, in my opinion. Uh Beautify yourself inside and out, not a look change, a self-love change, from Adele. Thank you. I agree with that. Sweetheart says, Hi, I've been in no contact for a month now. My ex is on a dating app. I wonder, is he pretending or just moving on? I don't think he's pretending. I think he's dating. Now, it doesn't mean he's moved on emotionally. Guys are very capable of dating women that they're not in love with. That's the thing. That does happen. So it doesn't mean he's moved on. Some people handle breakups that way and distract themselves with other people. Obviously, this isn't healthy, but people do it every day without having genuine feelings. So I wouldn't say it means that he's moving on. Doesn't mean that. But stay no contact though. Uh Blessed forever. My ex and I broke up, and he started pursuing slash having sexual relations days after with someone else. Okay. He hit me up saying he regrets everything. What should I do? Well, at minimum, you can have the conversation. It sounds like you're still interested. So you can figure out the facts and details. Bottom line is, and a lot of people don't feel this way, but bottom line, once the relationship is over, um, they have the right to do whatever they want with their body, with their time. So it's not necessarily your business, but this is a deal breaker for some people, and that's fine. So you have to know your values. You have to know what you're okay with. Is it healthy that you get out of one relationship and hop to the next? No, not at all. Could it mean that he was already lining this person up before he left you? Possibly. So you have the conversation to figure that out first, get clarity. And if it aligns, like if it doesn't align with your values, then you got to be strong enough to say, no, this is an issue for me. Okay. Lavishly says, I was getting breadcrumb, I think. Breadcrumb on short-term relationship. So isn't time of no contact a factor? Then a text. Hope we get great adventures in Italy someday based on prior conver. Didn't say together or question breadcrumbs. Like, you need to articulate your question better. I can't even make heads or tails of that. Like, serious. You need to put it together better and ask it again. Benita, thank you for the super chat. I'm gonna assume that's a donation. Shout out to you, Benita. Appreciate it. Tioli says, when I go no contact, she stops watching my Insta stories. It's just a cry for attention and her wanting me to chase her. Still, is it possible to get her in the future? And how, without breaking no contact? Of course. Well, this is the false ideology that people have, is that you think you have to help your ex get back to you. This is something they can do all on their own, because this is an internal journey that your ex has to go through. And actually, the more you do to help, the more you're pushing them away. This is something, if you've ever bought a car before and you've dealt with an experienced salesman, there's a time in the car buying process, usually depending on the language that you're using, where you're showing a lot of investment in the car, and trying to figure out financing and all this stuff, and the salesman is just going to stop trying to sell you, because they're going to allow you to sell yourself. They know that anything that they can say can actually ruin the sale. And that's the thing. Like, a lot of you interfere with your ex's process by trying to help push things along, and you just make it worse. Okay. So you really don't have to do anything. They're going to do this out of their own self-interest, because being away from you is either causing them a lot of pain, right? They recognize that, okay, maybe I shouldn't have left in the first place because I had someone amazing. Or combined with that, you've been doing the work on yourself and they notice that difference. And you can actually communicate with them with indifference. You sound confident, and they're starting to fear that they are losing you. They will do everything they can to close that gap out of their own self interest. Okay. Coach Black, is it hot? Yeah, it's hot. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But thank you for your comment. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Sir Ninja Raiden. My 3-year girlfriend dumped me 2 weeks ago. Okay. Should I just let go because it was a long distance relationship? We met throughout the relationship. I know people barely get their exes back, so my chances are even lower. What makes you think people barely get their exes back? A lot of people do get their exes back, actually. But not like everybody doesn't. Obviously, everybody does not get their ex back. But the statistics are better than you're coming off there. But let's see here. I mean, what do you want? That's the big picture. Like, if you're still interested in her, I would still just go no contact, continue working on yourself, and see if she does anything to fix things. I think a 3-year relationship is substantial. Give it at least some time. It's only been 2 weeks. It's only been 2 weeks. Now, if there's details that I'm not aware about, right? If there were issues, constant issues in the relationship, you guys were toxic for each other, you weren't seeing each other often, you weren't, intimate, there was a lot of, problems, that's a different story. But if things were pretty good, just give it some time. Stephanie says, okay, last question for me. All right, let's see. What do I do if he tells me happy birthday? Say thank you. My birthday's coming up soon. He also told my parents happy Mother's and Father's Day, so I have a feeling he'll tell me happy birthday. Just say thank you. That's all you got to say. You don't have to say much. He's just reaching out for your birthday. Say thank you. And depending on what he says, if he follows up with that, then you can see about, potentially getting together. Uh, M- Miseries with the super chat. Been in no contact with my ex for 2 months. They reached out to me. It fell through. They've been watching my stories, and recently they wished me a happy birthday. And theirs is coming up. Should I wish them a happy birthday? It's okay if you say happy birthday, but that's it. Just because yours came first and they wished you happy birthday. But like, if they plan to see you and the plans fell through, the fact that you're in this chat and you took the time to send a super chat and ask a question, my guess is it didn't fall through because you didn't want to see him. So it sounds like he flaked on you. So he flaked on you, but he's still watching your stories. It just sounds like he's in a low effort place right now. And again, so you need to be very careful about doing too much. But in your case, most is happy birthday. That's it. Okay. If he follows up with a question, you need to be, quick and leave the conversation unless he's asking to see you. Okay. Now, where were we? Huh. Let's see. Okay. We got about 12 minutes left. Thank you all for being here. We're a little later today. But yeah, it's been a lot of great questions today. A lot of interesting scenarios. Let's see. Mm-mm-mm. Nonstop Production says, what up, Coach Black? What's up? My wife, okay, this didn't start right. My wife fell in love with the dude from Texas. Okay. I was pretty distant and neglectful during the relationship. Okay. But she was not easy to get along with. What should I do? Well, okay. She's your wife. Okay. If you were such a terrible person, best thing she could have done is end the marriage. Right? It doesn't say like you were abusive or anything. You were kind of distant, so you weren't showing up to the relationship like you should have. So, I mean, there's a lot of different uh, uh, layers of things that she could have tried to do first before falling in love with someone else. So again, it doesn't sound like her values or commitment means much to her. So if I were you, I would be thinking long and hard before I just chase after her. And is that even an option? Because if she's chasing after this other dude she's supposedly in love with, and she's trying to move states or whatever, because you say fell in love with the dude from Texas, like, I mean, doesn't sound like you live in Texas. So if she's pursuing some other guy, falling in love with him, sounds like you should be asking about the conclusion of the marriage. um as much as you care about her, if she's not willing to put in any effort with you and she's actively pursuing another man, that's an issue. uh Lavishly, let's try this again. Well, this is a different question. Do you respond to a positive text that is a statement but not an open-ended question? Feel like I can tell she's being tentative to put herself out there. Isn't there a nuanced opinion for scared dumpers? Well, that's just the opinion that you have, or the story that you're telling yourself, because again, your mindset is conveyed in that question. You're just looking for a reason to do more, right? But you got to realize relationships take two. To get to, a full, healthy, happy relationship, it can't be 90% you and 10% her. It just can't be that way. You want someone who is like, heck yeah, I'm excited about this opportunity to be with lavishly. Okay. So again, you're missing the context, right? So if it's a positive text, I'm okay. I always say don't ignore your ex. But, I wish I saw the context of what exactly she said so we can take it and run from there. But again, your whole frame of mind sounds to me like you got your ex on this pedestal. You're assuming that, oh, well, she's not going to come back, or she's not going to do anything because she's scared, and so I got to be the one. I've heard this time again. Oh, my ex is bipolar. They're avoidant. They have family trauma. It's all excuses that you make to do all the work. Okay, your ex isn't too scared to go get a job, to get a career, to socialize with people. When you first started dating, I bet they weren't too scared to make an effort to have conversations with you. The reason why they're doing nothing is because they don't care enough. If they did, they would reach out to you. Tiffany says, my ex expects me to wish him happy birthday. So this past Monday, I let his birthday pass by without contacting him because I held firm on no contact. Okay. What might he be thinking since I didn't reach out? I mean, he might be thinking that, oh, is she moving on? Does she care about me? Does she forget about my birthday? I thought I was important to her. And depending on the context of the breakup, if he dumped you, then those are good thoughts to be running through his mind. Okay. He doesn't need to. I always say this, there's a difference between love and attraction. Okay. And when you're in a long term relationship and you guys are together and you're building a life together, then, the context of the relationship should be more about love. There's going to be some attraction things that you do, but love is safe, secure, confident, assuring the other person. Love is very comfortable. Attraction, on the other hand, is, there's some doubt, there's some insecurity, there's questions about, there's suspense, there's mystery. If you think about the people in the past that you've dated, that you've had butterflies for, that you really were super interested in, especially in the beginning, it was because you weren't 100% sure if they liked you as well. It was the beginning, it was exciting, but you didn't necessarily have them all the way. That's what causes attraction. It's the mystery, it's the suspense. It's not the safety and security. Okay. So when you're coming from being dumped, attraction is always where you should be focused, being more aloof, being distant, having your own life, and allowing them to pursue you. Now, these things won't work if you're together and that's your wife, and you're like, oh, I'm going to take 10 hours to text her back. That's not going to fly. Okay. Let's see here. Sean, 1 month of no contact. She broke up with me, but I found out one day after we broke up, she was talking to her ex from 10 years ago. 6 years together. I know my worth, but it just hurts. Yeah, that sucks, man. And I'm sorry that you're going through that. That sucks. But keep going, keep moving forward, bro. Victor, a follow up question. You already asked the question. Okay. Let's see here. Victor says a follow up question. She only called my unblocked WhatsApp number to ask me to pack my things after she called my friend that I didn't wish her happy birthday. Okay, so sounds like she's doing all these things because she's upset, and that's fine. If she dumped you and she's upset that you're pulling away, that's okay. Because if she didn't care, she wouldn't care that you're upset. So it's okay that she's a little frustrated. That's fine. Pablo says my ex is trying to have relations with me late night. 10 years together, no contact. 5 months. Been really trying to bother me. What should I do? What are you saying? Your ex is trying to hook up with you and you're saying no? Okay, that question is confusing because I'm not sure how much interaction are you guys having with each other, where this is even being offered, right? Because if she's offering intimacy, are you guys going on dates? Are you hanging out? What's going on? Because if those things are happening, or she's asking for those things, you just need to like kind of accommodate some of those requests and walk slowly back into the relationship. It's not You're not going to fix things in one conversation. That's not going to happen. So again, I'm a little, is she trying to be friends with benefits or what? I'm not clear. Uh Coach Black, I left him because he wasn't meeting me. We lived in different cities. It's been 10 weeks. Do you think he will come back? Please help. A lot of context is missing in that question. I left him because he wasn't meeting me. How long were you together? Was it a long-term relationship? Sounds like. Okay. Did you never see each other? Like what's the context? So I have 10 more follow-up questions to that. Alicia says, I bought a super chat. See my comment. Here's the thing. Let me say this so you know. I think there's a threshold of super chat where it pops up at the top. So if you do like the $1 ones and the 1.99, it doesn't pop up. I'm reading the ones that they pop up at the top of the screen. So I'm not sure exactly where the number threshold is, but I think the lowest I've seen at the top is 4.99. Okay, $4.99. That's what I think it is. I think that's what the threshold is. So yeah, if you're, I'm just going in order and I'm reading all the questions, and if it pops at the top, I pick it as a super chat. So if you do the 1.99, it's likely being missed. Okay, just so you know. Uh, let's see here. So the best bet for you to do if you have a question and you can't do the 4.99, just come in early. Just come in as early as possible and drop your question in first. That's it. Okay. Um, Javen. Hey, coach, my breakup was 6 months ago. She blocked me on Instagram, but didn't block my number. Just put me in the friend zone. Say we cool. I'm 21. She's 24. So are you guys still talking and texting? Because one, you know that she didn't block your number, and you're saying she put you in the friend zone. So it sounds like you're not doing no contact all the way, which you should be doing. All right. So that's your big issue. But it's been 6 months. I would guess, and you've been doing the friend thing, sounds like for 6 months. I would guess she's emotionally like pretty much detached or close to it. So, don't make those little mistakes. Leave her alone. Don't be a friend and give her space. I'm 2 days in no contact, and my wife's and I anniversary is Wednesday. Do I text her happy anniversary? We are separated at the moment. Well, obviously, a marriage is more complicated, but you're still together. So I would acknowledge the anniversary. I mean, it's only been 2 days, but you're still married. So I would acknowledge the anniversary. I'm not sure how far away you live, but again, if you're still married and there's no context here, I don't know what happened, what went wrong, if anyone cheated, I don't know. But taking what you said at face value, you're still married, you're just separated, and you've only been no contact for 2 days. I would acknowledge it. Okay. However you want to, whether you go over there or you call or you text. I wouldn't no contact your wife just because you're separated, bro. Okay. Unless there's something crazy I'm unaware of, like she's dating someone else or something like that. I mean, if she's dating someone else, then obviously don't acknowledge the anniversary because obviously the anniversary doesn't mean much to her at that point. Sunshine Shine says, "Hi, my ex reached out to me after 2 months of no contact and asked if we can be friends. I denied his request to be friends and he unfriended me all across social media apps. What does that mean?" Well, that's an emotional reaction. It's okay. That's just an emotional reaction. And, obviously he's upset that you're not bending to his desires, and that's okay. Stay no contact though. All right, so we're gonna do a couple more questions and then we're gonna call it night. Okay, so thank you all for being here. Um, let's see. Let's see here. All right, we're gonna do a couple more, but thank you. Mm, mm, mm. Let's see here. Where was I? Okay, now I'm lost. We're gonna just pick a random one. One of one says, been in no contact for a month after she broke up with me because the spark was gone. She leaves to go long distance in a little over a month, and I want to see her before she goes. Could I reach out before? No. Don't let her own timeline force you to do something that you don't need to do. No. Let's see. Eric, God is good, says, I was throwing things, getting a temper, and she wasn't having it, so she gave me many chances. Uh, I told, I was told she moved on, but we were together for 7 months. What's your question? Brandon Barato, what if X is afraid of hurting you more now because you chased for a few months after the breakup? Well, she's going to have to overcome that fear, and she will. Think about it. You chased for a few months, you're in no contact, and you're like, well, she's afraid of hurting me. So my solution is to chase some more. That's not a good strategy. She will overcome that fear. She just needs more time to get to a place where she really feels like, okay, he is strong enough and he's staying away from me, and he has stayed away from me for some time. All right, last question is a super chat. Thank you. It's from Sprint wide receiver. A girl I was chatting with ghosted me around 3 months ago. I went no contact, but now she has texted me solely saying, "Oops, wrong person." What should I do? Ignore her. She says wrong person. There's nothing to say to that. There's nothing. If she texts you, first of all, you guys weren't even in a relationship. Um, you texted for a couple of months and she ghosted you. She doesn't really care about you, bro. Okay. But anyway, thank you guys all for being here. Appreciate it. Glad we could do a live session. And I appreciate y'all. Okay. If you want to talk to me one on one, the quickest way to do so, okay, is to click the first link in any video that I put out, the description. It's going to be the first link. You can book a call if you want to go over details. If you asked a question here and I didn't get to be there to answer your question, or I didn't get to it, again, book a call, we'll talk, or just tune in the next live session. I'm not going to be live next week Monday, but we'll be back a week from today, next Wednesday. So again, thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.